Stop.
What?
Welcome to episode 103 of the MTB Podcast, presented and hosted by Worldwide Cyclery. I am Jeff.
I am Jared.
And I'm Liam.
In this episode, we're going to discuss the most popular mountain bike products of 2022 per category. This is out of the 286,923 products that we shipped in the year. We'll also tell you our personal favorite products of the year and the actual least popular product of the year, determined by Jared's secret ranking algorithm. Is that right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not that big of a secret. I just looked at the least sold products.
These same products will also be shown in greater display and detail in our upcoming YouTube video on the same topic. So if you want to see them rather than listen about them, keep an eye out for that. Speaking of seeing us, the MTB Podcast episodes will now be back on the MTB Podcast YouTube channel as live recordings.
We're back, baby.
We're currently waving at the camera for those of you watching this on YouTube. So if you want to watch the podcast recording, it is there now. Well, let's start, boys. DJ Green Goblin, play a sound effect. Before we jump into the podcast, I did want to mention NICA, N-I-C-A, the National Interscholastic
Intergalactic, you had that wrong.
Cycling Association. On the metaverse, they might change the name to National Intergalactic Cycling Association, but for now it's just International. Interscholastic. That name is tough.
Intergalactic.
So if you're not familiar with NICA, they are a nonprofit organization that is trying to make mountain biking of all different disciplines an accredited sport in middle schools and high schools all across the United States, which is pretty amazing. It's actually a pretty large organization and have got a dozen plus, 24 plus states, like 50,000 kids in it. I mean, it's pretty big. So a lot of people know about it, but not everyone does, because not everyone is deep in the bike industry or has kids who ride mountain bikes and also go to school. We are big fans of NICA and donate to their cause because we really appreciate what they're doing and it resonates with us. We decided to put together this program called Miles for NICA, which we actually did talk about on the podcast almost a year ago, maybe. So the way that works is we use Strava to record everything, and so all of the staff basically record their rides. For every mile ridden between 1 and 100, WC will donate $1 per mile to NICA. Then miles 101 to 999, 50 cents. Miles 1,000 plus, 25 cents for every mile ridden. So that ended up in 2022, the crew rode just over 39,000 miles. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed when I saw that.
It's not bad, you know? It's not bad.
And that resulted in just over $21,000 being donated to NICA and various NICA leagues. So just something to mention. If you're not familiar with NICA, check it out. If you're trying to do a little more philanthropic activities now in this new year, take a look at NICA. It's pretty easy to donate. It's a nonprofit. They're doing really good things, helping kids ride mountain bikes, which we like. So that's all. That's all I got. Was that a humble brag? Would that be considered that? No? Okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll take it.
Sometimes it's like, well, I know this is actually something I'm pretty proud of that we've done. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, is this a humble brag if I even talk about this?
Yeah, I mean, we just have to make sure that the kids, in the rest of the galaxy are getting bikes.
Yeah, that's true.
Because after all, it is intergalactic. So
it's intergalactic.
When we get confirmation that we're just helping in the entire galaxy, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I'll ask him for that.
Yeah, please.
All right, let's jump into these products. There's a lot of them to go over. And before we start, just a quick note on the fact of how we picked the products for each category. They're chosen based on either their quantity sold or revenue generated, or both, plus the occasional honorable mention.
Yes.
That's an important thing in some of these categories.
What makes it an honorable mention?
Well, so for example, actually a perfect honorable mention that you'll like is the Continental tires. So Continental tires didn't end up as like a top volume product or top revenue generating product because they didn't really come into stock until Q3 of 2022.
Yep.
So they didn't end up being big sellers because of just
for the whole year.
Right.
Yeah, for the whole year.
But they're popular.
But they're still popular and they're still honorable to mention.
Right.
You know?
Gotcha.
Yeah. And other things like, I don't know, some product categories are, well, I don't want to give it away, but.
Yeah. You know, I just asked clarification.
Yeah, well, I'm saying some categories are dominated by certain brands too. So like some other products that are really good that we want to highlight, that also sold well, we want to highlight those as well.
Yeah. So the categories: drivetrain,
grips,
Tires.
Handlebars.
Wheels.
Chopper post and levers.
Brakes.
Shadows.
Saddles.
Saddles.
Seats.
Pedals.
Suspension.
Maintenance.
Miscellaneous. Miscellaneous.
MISSILEANUS. Miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
wow.
Fantastic.
Here we go. Drivetrain. Drivetrain was probably the hardest one of these to do because there's a lot of different parts that make up a drivetrain, and we didn't want to bore you guys and break out every individual, like, here are the most popular chains, here are the most popular derailleurs, here are the most popular cassettes. So we kind of tried to smash it all into drivetrain,
Yeah.
which wasn't the easiest thing to do. But this list was pretty much dominated by SRAM, as you might imagine. Obviously, Shimano's a big competitor to SRAM, but Shimano's had really bad supply chain issues for all of 2022. So we just didn't...
And beyond.
Yeah.
And
Quite bad.
yeah, and beyond.
And beyond.
So, yeah. So SRAM crushed it in 22. In particular, GX Eagle, trigger, shifter, and derailleur. The mechanical version.
Yep.
Mechanical.
Yeah.
Oh, and the electronic.
Well, that's at number 2, but
Spoiler
the number
alert.
1 spot was the GX Eagle trigger,
Yeah.
shifter, and derailleur sort of combo, the mechanical variant of it, which was cool. GX is, I mean, ever since they redesigned GX, when was that? 2 years ago?
Something like that.
Remember when they like refreshed the GX stuff?
Yeah, it's 2 years ago,
Yeah.
roughly.
Yeah. It looks so much better.
Yeah.
And
It looks
for the
good,
price,
performs
it's
good.
just, yeah, I mean, it's
Workhorse,
no
baby.
wonder everyone's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm just going to get that. It's as good as the best stuff, but less expensive
Yeah.
and only slightly heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're not, looking to save grams, dude, GX is killer.
Yeah, it really is. And then, the number 2 spot was a GX Access upgrade kit. So that's basically the kit that you can buy that has they call it a controller in this case, not a shifter because it's
Yep.
electric, and the derailleur. So what else comes in that little kit?
Charger, battery, B-tension tool,
Battery cover.
Yeah.
battery cover,
Battery cover. Yeah.
coaster.
Coaster with the
for your-
QR code to download.
yeah.
That was the one we made a really funny YouTube video on. Do you remember that? Where we
Yes,
did
with the news
skit.
the news-
story. Those are my favorite
newscast.
ones to do. Also, a little multi-tool comes in those.
Oh yeah, it does come with a really cool
that
multi-tool
little
actually.
nifty, lightweight multi-tool.
Yep.
In the 3rd spot, race face,
Oh, yeah.
narrow wide, chainring.
104,
the 104
BCD.
BCD.
Yeah.
What do you know about that?
Well, I'll tell you, I think people are converting their, 2x, 3x drivetrains to a 1x.
See, I beg to differ. I think that's
Really?
replacing e-bike drivetrains.
Ooh, there you go.
That's why you think that's like that?
Yeah, because it went away for probably 3 years,
Interesting.
and now all e-bikes are 104 BCD.
Interesting. There you go. I didn't
Yep.
think about that.
Yep.
We got a resident e-bike rider over here.
Oh, yep.
Oh, I just ordered one of those the other day.
That's a good point. And pretty much all e-bikes are 104 BCD because most of them are coming with, not proprietary cranks, but it's like
But
a lot of those Praxis cranks.
Yeah, the cranks
on
are driven
everything.
off the motor, and then the motor just has a spider. They don't really have a direct mount. Well, Bosch, you can get a direct mount, but I'd say the majority of e-bikes are coming with a spider that uses a 104 BCD chainring mount.
And you're a lot more limited on the different cranks you could upgrade to on an e-bike
Yes,
because of that.
much
Yeah.
so. And they're like old
Interesting.
school. It's just crank arms. It's not a spindle, right? Because
Yeah.
the spindle's the motor. So
Yep.
yep.
Interesting. Well, there you go. Speaking of interesting, the number 4 product.
The SRAM NX Eagle cassette. So the NX cassette is, it's not their least expensive one. I guess SX would technically be.
Right.
Yeah.
They make it, do they call SX Eagle? Is it SX
Yeah,
Eagle?
SX
I guess
Eagle.
Yeah,
it's still,
it
it's
is.
still 12 speed, right?
Yeah.
So NX Eagle, 12 speed, but it does use a HG, or what some people would call a Shimano freehub body fitment, which is different than the GX and above,
Yep.
which use XD freehub body. So yeah, I mean, that's been a popular cassette for a while now because you can get Eagle on your bike with that cassette and you don't have to swap out your existing HG freehub body if you have one.
Yep.
So, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Makes sense.
Now, you should have done your interesting plug for this
Yeah.
one.
What's so interesting, Jared?
About the NX cassette?
No,
don't know about the number
next
5.
product. The next product, man.
I thought you were kind of going back to what I was saying about the next interesting product. Well, what's interesting about the box group set? I mean, it's a very affordable group set. That is solid. That's pretty interesting. Nothing, huh? Crickets. Cool.
Well, Box Prime 9 is interesting. It's definitely not SRAM or Shimano, and the fact that it even made this list is cool.
Yeah.
For having a different take on a drivetrain, 9-speed, very low price point given what it does and is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm impressed that Box is there. So good for them.
Yeah.
It's not easy to go play ball with SRAM and Shimano in a patent minefield.
Yeah,
and
you're
did
literally
it. So.
swinging at the biggest Goliath there is. So
Yeah. And it comes in a box.
We didn't even make it 10 minutes into the dad jokes hitting out. Oh boy.
What do you expect?
Last one of this category, number 6.
Not interesting. Just a GX Eagle cassette.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, great cassette.
Great cassette. Good replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just easily predictable that it would be there.
Before we move on categories, though, when are we going to say our favorite products?
Oh, you want to name your favorite drivetrain product? Or just favorite product of all?
I thought we were just going to say favorite product of 2022.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking in my head. I didn't really specify, though. So
Yeah.
we'll do that mid-show.
Okay.
Oh.
Mid-show, we'll talk about
All
our
right, stick around.
favorite
Yeah.
products.
We don't want to make you wait too long.
We don't want to make you wait too long. Okay. Grips. This is awesome. I'm really stoked to see this. The Trail 1 Hell's Gate grip was actually the number one seller for us. Yes. Which
And
we're really...
with actual real data.
Yeah, it is. We didn't just make that up.
We didn't make it up.
That is real.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, we talk about it a lot because Trail 1 is a brand that we own equity in and co-developed, and especially on this design as well of that grip. Liam and I personally worked on it a lot. So to get to kind of build Trail 1 on the side of WC and then see a product like the Hell's Gate grip end up in the number one spot was amazing. So we're really happy about that. Just kind of proof of concept. We designed exactly what we wanted. We kind of took all of the best features and little tiny intricate details of all the other grips that we really loved and smashed them into one, and it worked. And people liked it.
Yep.
Boom.
Except for people who like extremely skinny grips known as Jared.
Oh, I still like it.
Well, yeah, but you don't ride it.
Because, I'm just not used to... I mean, obviously, if I rode it longer, I'd get used to it, but I'm just used to a thinner grip. Which
No, I understand.
like.
I mean, that's why there's,
Yeah.
different flavors for different people. The Hell's Gate grip is, I would say, maybe a mid-thick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a thick grip.
Slim thick.
But it's not like a thin. It's slim thick.
yeah.
Mid-thick.
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 It's thick with 2 C's. It's not fat.
Which I also, I will
pH.
say, years ago, I used to like a really thin grip, like the original Ruffian. Do you remember that thing?
Yeah, that's what you were
on BMX
running when I
bikes?
first started. You were like,
Yeah,
lock on,
super thin grip.
Ruffian. Like, no waffle, no padding.
And then then it was the Ruffian MX with the waffle on the bottom.
Yep.
Then it was the
Elite Pro.
Elite Pro,
which happens
is
to be
pretty
our
much
number 2 best-selling
yeah,
grip.
there you go. Then it was Elite Pro. That's what I was running for a while. I really liked that grip. But then the more I rode, the more I was like, man, I just want a little bit more cushion there under the actual bones in the hand, and just made more sense for those like bigger days on the bike or multiple days in a row on the bike, especially bike parks. And that's when I started deciding to adapt to a little bit thicker of a grip for comfort.
Yeah, I remember we put on those Elite Pros on your bike, and you went to Whistler, and you came back, you're like, dude, I need different grips.
Yeah.
My hands are beat up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just not enough. I mean,
But,
some of those things, if
Whistler's
you ride,
Outlier, right?
if you ride 1 hour a day for 4 days a week, it's like, you can kind of get away with anything.
Yep. Yeah.
But if you ride consecutive days of 20 miles a day or consecutive days at a bike park, then you start realizing like every little tiny downfall in a grip. So anyways, the GE1 is in the number 3 spot from Ergon. Is that the grip you ride?
That would be the GFR one.
Oh, you ride the GFR one.
Yeah.
Well, didn't make the list. The
Didn't make the list.
GE1 did.
I think the GFR one was actually out of stock for a while, and then I also like the GD one, which is like the slimmer version without the little things on it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. And in the 4th spot, P&W Loam grips. That's
Loamers.
a nice thin grip that comes in a million different colors and is affordably priced.
Yeah, that's a
it
great
is.
grip.
It's also
Yeah,
on
you
the,
like that grip, don't you?
I do like that.
Yeah, it's on the
grip.
thinner
one?
side.
Yeah.
But
It
they
is.
came out with a fat version, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think they did.
Yeah,
A
no,
thick
there's
version
2.
or fat version or
Thicker,
whatever
fatter,
they call it.
beefy, whatever you want to call
Thick, fat, beefy, chunky.
Thin and thick.
Mike Tyson here?
Mike Tyson. Yeah.
Let's move on to tires, please.
Oh, my favorite category.
Liam's favorite category. Well, I guess everyone already knows the honorable mention, which is the Conti tires, the ridiculously named xylitol, cryptotol, and argitol. I honestly feel like if people hear that, they're going to think that's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to
Especially coming
criticize
from
you here, but I mean, you definitely spelled them mostly wrong.
Well,
But like I said, I'm not going to criticize you because it's
how are you
they're
even?
crazy
Who's
names.
going to know how to spell xylitol, cryptotol, and argitol, and then go?
My pharmacist knows how to spell all of these.
Yeah, exactly. Go to the internet or our search bar on our website and type that in.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee you that most people are typing them the same way that you did.
Yeah, spelled wrong.
As
But
ridiculous
honorable
as the
mention,
names are,
good tires.
Yeah.
They actually ended up
they're sweet.
on World Cup podiums, maybe winning some World Cups. Did they win any World Cups this year?
Not male World
I thought
Cups.
that one in,
Definitely.
wasn't it Snowshoe that one of them?
That was Bernard
somebody
Kerr,
won?
and I think that was just a podium.
Oh.
They've definitely been on World Cup podiums. I'm 100% about that.
Kerr got second. He
they-
almost won
Okay, that's
at
right.
one race. They've been on definitely a lot of podiums. I know Charlie Hatton was on them. A few other guys from the Atherton team did really well, along with the Pivot Factory team. So
Yeah, so definitely an honorable mention, something to take a look at there because those things are looking pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But as far as weight goes, Liam, are they as light as the direct competitor of a Maxxis tire?
they are. Yeah,
They are?
they're. I mean, within 50 grams. Yeah, they're right there.
50
That's
grams.
kind of hard for Jeff to swallow.
50 grams.
Well,
50 grams.
here's the thing, though: is your tire varies. Like whatever the site
Yeah, I
says.
mean, they all
Right.
they all have a variance.
Like
Yeah.
your DHR2 and 2.4, one could be 50 grams heavier than the other, and it's the
Hey,
same spec.
Speaking of weight weenies, I think at one point we had a customer who asked us, how many of these tires do you have in stock, and can you weigh every individual one and ship me the lightest one?
Wow.
Well, I used to do that when I was racing. I'd get my
See, you are weighing
my
me.
10 or 12 tires for the season from Schwalbe. They'd send me the whole box, and then I would go there and weigh them, and then I would ride the heaviest in the early season, and then the lightest at
Wow.
the more important races.
Strategic.
Yeah.
strategery.
And
So do you think that
some of
guy
those
does
are like
that every
70 grams difference for
Wow.
the same exact tire, from the heaviest to the lightest.
Imagine doing that every time you got a new tire. Hold on, honey. I got to go to the shop and order my set of tires and weigh them all.
I'm not taking it that far. And I don't think the people who are in this, the top 5 tire buyers here
Yeah.
of these tires did that either. So number 1, DHR2 from Maxxis. Not really a surprise there. I mean, I guess if you had to pick, what's weird? The DHF didn't land on this list.
Yeah, it's gone, man.
I mean,
Oh, the DHR2 is just kind of
if we would have put all
has
the
the same
Maxxis
exact
tires,
corner knobs.
this would be just a list of Maxxis tires.
Yeah.
But, we had
Yeah.
to cut the cord somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, DHR2, I personally run the DHR2 because it's available in the widths that I like as opposed to the DHF.
Yeah.
And it is lighter in the same
Yeah.
size as the DHF. Has exact same corner knobs, exact same everything except for the center tread. And I think the DHR2 center tread rolls faster and clears mud better. So it's just kind of a more versatile
And
DHF,
I think it has
in my
a
opinion.
better transition from center to leaned over.
Which one? DHR2?
Yeah, the DHF has that pretty big
Yeah.
gap in the middle that leads to like a little washy transition until the side knobs grab.
Some people might like that, though.
Some people do, and it works well if you have actual soil, unlike we do here. We just have
Yeah.
hard packed dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
Number 2 position, the Maxxis Assegai.
Ass guy.
Love that tire.
That is a grippy tire.
Love that tire.
That's a really grippy tire. Then the number 3 spot, the Dissector, which I was kind of surprised to see that here because it's not a super grippy tire. It's kind of more on that
Yeah.
trail bike fast rolling tire, which I like, and I actually use the Dissector. I have
I'd
it on
be-
the front of my bike right now.
I'd be curious because the Dissector got a lot of OE spec this last year. I'd be curious because remember the Ardents were still super popular way after their heyday, right? They got surpassed by the tires, but we were still selling a lot of them because they're so heavily OE spec'd.
Yeah, and people just get
And they
whatever
just-
they
yeah.
came on their bike.
They just replaced the exact logo that's on their tire.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of people may be running it as a rear, too. I don't know.
yeah, that too. It's a good rear. I like it in the rear more than the front, personally.
Yeah, it rolls pretty fast. Good grip.
Yeah, it does. Number 4th spot. Number 4th?
Number 4th spot.
That makes sense. Delium Rugged.
Rugged.
We talked about Delium tires on the podcast, I don't know, handful of episodes back.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think they clarify their mission, but their mission seems to be making really good mountain bike tires for essentially half the price of everyone else in the mountain bike world.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much doing it, which is pretty impressive. So, yeah, good to see them making almost on the podium. Well, if it's a downhill race, it technically is the podium.
It's on the large podium.
Yeah.
It's on the large podium. That's a brand to check out. If you're going through tires a lot, Deliums are half the price of basically every other brand.
Yep.
And they're quite impressive.
Yeah.
Number 5. What do we got, Jared?
Schwable Nabinek.
Schwable.
I'm going to say it correctly now. Schwable.
Do you think that's how...
I'm pretty sure that... Remember the guy sent us a voice memo? And I'm pretty sure that's how I said it. Schwable.
In some podcast or YouTube video, we said we weren't exactly sure how to pronounce that word. And a German guy sent us a voice memo on Instagram telling us... it was like Schwable.
Yeah. No, it's like Schwa.
Schwa.
The SCHW that makes like a V sound.
Schwable.
So, German listeners out there, go ahead and send us a DM and let us know if I said it right.
Again, because obviously we didn't learn the first time.
Schwable.
Well, we call it Schwalbe. The Knobby Nick. The Knobby Nick was the tire, was the
Knobby
most
Nick.
popular one.
Yeah.
That one's been hanging on for a long time.
That's a good versatile tire.
Yeah, seriously.
Front,
is.
rear, trail, DH, whatever.
Indeed. And then the number 6 spot, Vittoria Mezcal.
The Italian tire with the Mexican drink in
I
there.
was going to say, it's a Mexican
Yeah.
alcohol.
Well, I don't think the
Is it,
Vittoria
though?
Chianti really has...
For
as
sure,
good of a-
Mezcal is from Mexico and not from
Yeah,
Italy or
I mean,
Spain
they
or
make it,
somewhere else.
like with agave that's grown in Mexico.
I mean, the word could have two different meanings in two different languages. I don't know.
Quote us on this one.
I'm not an expert,
We're not
but
positive.
I do know I drink mezcal when I go to Mexico.
Yeah. Not wrong.
So we have some mezcal here, and it's way too smoky.
I do not like it.
Yeah, it's just
Campfire.
like,
Yeah.
tastes like
Give me some 1942.
Yeah. Okay.
All I drink is 42.
The next category is handlebars. But before we get into that, we would like to hit you with a message from our sponsors.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
The advertisement, this podcast episode, is from us, Worldwide Cyclery. We are doing, and actually, you know what? We're doing this with Worldwide Cyclery, Kettle, and Trail One, 10% off gift cards for the off-season.
Investors, could be you.
Might have that turned off on Kettle. I can't remember.
Oh.
I think we
wanna
should
double
pull the
check
whole
that.
thing on January 31st. So if you're hearing this and you want 10% off a gift card, jump on it. Maybe we'll run it until February.
It's live on Trail One.
This has been a really good ad.
Yeah. That was one of the least, I don't know, eventful ads I've heard on this podcast. And I listened to every single one.
That's all we got. Thank you. And now back to the show.
Back to the show. And now, back to the show.
Handlebars. One Up Components. Carbon handlebars. They reigned in the number 1 spot.
They reign supreme.
This is the second year in a row. I'm not surprised. Those are really good bars, and they are to this day the only. I don't know what would you call it? Like they have a actual novel, unique feature design. They basically engineered vertical compliance and lateral stiffness into the carbon handlebar, like where the rise is, and has like a unique look and shape to it. We did a YouTube video about these. How long ago was that? 3 years ago?
2 years ago? 3 years ago?
At least.
It was a while ago. Yeah. And it was actually really fun. I rode the bars back to back, same trail, same bike. Rode 4 or 5 different handlebars, and it was way more surprising than I thought doing that test, which is we did it in a very scientific way, which is hard to do with any bike part, but handlebars is one of the more plausible ones to do it with. Mm-hmm. And I was way impressed at how different every bar felt. There is obviously definitely, absolutely had the most vertical compliance. But it was, it was just really surprising to be like, wow, these Renthal bars feel like a pipe of steel. I didn't think so did the Race Face bars. The Truvative bars were like a pretty good hybrid that I actually really liked and kind of took a lot of thought when we went to go design the Trail 1 bars. But the One Up bars had the most compliance, which if you have a rigid fork, like my gravelly mountain bike weird thing that I'd ride a lot, makes a ton of sense. Or if you had a bike park, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, they're good bars.
Yeah.
No surprise. Number 1 spot.
But not as good as our number 2 bar.
Well, that's like opinion based.
Yeah.
Situational.
Yeah. What is that? Objective? That's
No, that'd
biased.
be subjective.
That'd be subjective. Yeah, I always
And
confuse
biased.
those.
The Trail 1...
And biased.
The Trail 1 Crockett carbon bars ended up in the number 2 spot, and the Crockett alloy bars ended up in the number 3 spot. By the way, Crockett is Crockett Hills in Northern California. All the Trail 1 products, every product sold, $1 goes back to the Trail Network that they're named after. So those handlebars, donations get made to Crockett, which is pretty cool. And like I just mentioned, we kind of designed the Crockett carbon bars around not being really flexy, but also not being rigid pipe.
Goldilocks.
Oh, you took the words out of my mouth.
That's what I was
man.
aiming
That's
for.
what I was going to say.
And then the NV Composite M6 bars. Premium.
Premium, creme de la
It
creme,
has
as
this
you like
big
to say.
ENVE on it, and it makes you look high class.
Yep.
People are envious of you.
It's a status symbol.
It is. It's like a Yeti on the back of your Tesla. The One Up USA rack.
And your
And NV bars.
your
Oof.
Gucci bag.
Oh, that's going too far. It's still a mountain biker.
Oh, come on.
And you definitely don't have the number 5 bars, which were race face Chester handlebars.
Yeah, 4 and 5 are like opposites of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Race face Chester
Category.
handlebar is, a bit of a dirt bag. Don't want to waste your money on handlebars, so you get just like a reliable workhorse that's not very expensive and works good and has good geo, and bam, there you go, race face Chester
Perfect.
bars.
Race face Chester.
Boom. But if you want more style, you get a Crockett alloy. And then,
Wheels.
speaking of which, wheels.
Wheels.
Wheels is the next category.
Wow. And I'm a pretty big fan of the this brand that dominated. I'm not gonna lie, Industry 9.
Yeah, Industry 9, the 1/1 Enduro S wheel set was the
Yeah.
top seller, which, makes sense. It is kind of that perfect, certainly not a cheap wheel set, but certainly not a super high-priced wheel set. It's kind of that perfect middle ground, still an alloy rim, really good hubs. That's the one, does that have straight pull steel spokes, or does that have J-bends?
That's Enduro S Hydra.
Enduro
the
S
straight
Hydra?
pull.
Yeah, Hydra does.
Okay,
Straight
so the
pull.
1-to-1 has just the regular
J-bend.
J-bend.
Yep.
Yep.
Which the number 2 spot was the Enduro S Hydra.
Hydra.
But same with Hydra hub and straight pull spokes.
And then 3rd spot, the Enduro 305s from Industry 9, which is just a slightly different rim. Also has Hydra hubs. Oh, those were the
those-
system wheels.
Yeah, those
Yep.
are system
with
wheels.
Industry 9's sort of proprietary
Yep.
aluminum straight pull spoke. Those are nice.
Yeah.
Those are fancy.
So they're nice.
And the workhorse, DT Swiss E1900s, which came in here. That price was wrong.
Oh,
Just deleted that.
cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say it sounded cheap.
They are, well,
Yeah,
they're
it wasn't
pretty affordable.
I think that was the rear wheel price or
yeah,
something.
they're like a couple $100 each.
Each, though.
Yeah.
Well, the rear is more expensive than the front.
Yeah, they're like
I'm aware.
maybe $650-ish or so. I'm not even going to say a price. Take that price back.
Wheels are so hard to tell someone the price of wheels because it's like, well, depending on what free hub body, depending on 26, 27, 5, 29. Did you want this spoke configuration or that one?
Totally.
It's like, it's kind of confusing. But DT
Yeah.
Swiss E1900s, a great mountain bike wheel set. DT Swiss, I mean, they're going to be in here for sure.
Yeah.
Number 5 spot, Bird Hawk 27s.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Caca!
Bird, we made a YouTube video about their noodle spokes.
Yeah.
I don't think they like us calling them noodle spokes.
Oh, they're spaghetti.
Spaghetti spokes.
It's more to be scientific.
Well,
We also gave away a couple sets of bird
We did,
wheels.
yeah. We did some bird wheel giveaways, which
pretty
is pretty
cool.
rad. So they collaborated with We Are One to make that North American-made carbon rim, which is their Hawk 27 rim.
Yep.
correct.
And then Industry 9 hubs on that wheel set.
Also
and
made in
then,
America.
And then the bird spokes, which are made in America, which are ultra-high
molecular weight polyethylene.
polyethylene.
We almost said that at the same time.
It's pretty good.
Beautiful.
It is a really interesting. I mean, that is one of those things. You got to watch the video, but for a more in-depth review on it. But that's totally one of those things that I can't even remember. You came across it on Instagram or something. You're like, oh, look at this brand, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It looks kind of like Spinergy. I'm not going to bother. And then, well,
Spinergy.
I grew up in the world when
No,
Spinergy.
I know. Same.
Spinergy was popular, and they had those noodly Kevlar spokes and
yeah.
like the company went out of business, and then there was a carcass, and it came back, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know everything about Spinergy, but they're not really relevant anymore. Maybe they're still making good wheels. I don't know. Maybe I should look into that before I say that. But they're certainly not like popping up in Instagram
Kind of
feeds.
sounds like a Mavic situation.
It kind of sounds like a Mavic situation.
I put them down the same road, yeah.
But
Same.
we got the birds to test, and all three of us were all, wow, these are actually...
You could say we were jazzed.
jazzed.
We were jazzed,
It's like,
man.
these are light.
Yeah.
These are not flexy like you would initially think at all. They have a really unique feel, the way that they sort of dampen the stuff you run over with the bike.
They're durable.
They're durable.
Yep.
Yeah, we were all just impressed, and I think
Yeah.
literally all three of us ride them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we have yet to break one.
we have yet to break a spoke. I'm just going to lead that right into, that is my favorite product of 2022.
Oh, that's why you wanted to wait.
That's why. I mean, it's kind of the middle of the show.
He had his own agenda.
Yeah, he had his agenda. He didn't want to tell us though.
So that's
yeah.
fine.
All right.
What was yours?
The secret's out. Yeah, mine too. I mean, at least the spokes.
You're just going to copy
can't copy
Jeff?
Fine.
It's off the table
I'll
now.
Pick another one, but fine. That's my runner-up. I like the spokes. I mean, I had them lace up one of my wheels, and loved it. So, boom. I'll come up with another one.
Oh, I know one
Yeah.
that you're not even remembering. The 5-dev cranks. That's got to be one of your guys'.
Oh, I love those. Yeah, those are cool.
Was that going to be yours? Did I guess yours?
I actually didn't have it on here, but
Did you even think of it?
not really, no. I didn't. But considering I have them on all of my bikes,
Yeah. That's why I guessed
Yeah.
that was yours, because you put them
Yeah.
on all your bikes.
I would-
like every new bike you built, you saved them and put the old ones back on that bike. And
Yep.
then,
They're cool.
yeah, they're rad.
My first favorite product of this year is my Forestall Sirion.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. That would have been my
'Cause-
second guess.
Yeah, I've been
You have been e-biking more.
e-biking a lot.
But you still ride your other bike a
oh
lot,
yeah,
too.
of course.
But yeah,
you
are,
have to
you are
set a
loving
rule,
e-bike.
right?
Yeah, he's not
Like,
jaded, man.
You have to set a rule of like, okay, I'm going to go out and do 4 hours on my normal pedal bike, and then next day or the day before, one of them ride the e-bike.
Yeah.
So you stack up 2 days,
Yeah.
and I'm not being completely lazy, although I'm pretty sure last week and a half, it's been raining a lot, so I think I pedaled one time today and like one time 10 days ago, and everything in between it has been e-bike or shuttling.
Slippery slope there, Liam.
It is. But my number 2 product would be 5-dev cranks, and specifically going with shorter length 5-dev cranks. I've
How
been
short?
really liking that.
160?
165s on the pedal bike, 160s on the e-bike and the shuttle bike.
Nice.
Yep.
Yep.
Interesting. All right, cool. Well, speaking of the Forestall Sirion, which is your pick, we just came out with a video all about that bike and that brand on YouTube. So if you're interested in a lightweight e-bike, check that out
Yeah.
on
And-
the YouTubes.
I'm about to put out a bike check blog, super in depth of my Forestall. Should be live in
that'll
like
be
2
cool.
days. Probably when this podcast comes out, it'll be live.
What
Wow.
dropper post do you have on it? Because that's the next category.
It's not one that made the list, but it is maybe one of my top 5 products of this year, the Wolftooth Resolve dropper post.
Oh, yeah, that should be an honorable mention because that
Yeah.
didn't come out until
September.
September,
Yeah,
I
pretty
think,
late.
so that doesn't
Yeah.
count. Yeah.
Nice
been-
segue, by
I've
the
been
way.
digging
I
it.
really like
Like
that,
that. Yeah.
in the drop post category.
Yeah, my post on my bike right now, I've got that KS Carbon LEV thing.
Yeah.
that I just really wouldn't recommend, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd rather
Like, if you want the lightest dropper post because you're a total weight weenie, that's the one. That's why I have it. If you want the best, most reliable dropper post, get something else.
Carbon.
It is the
Just
lightest.
Straight up seat post,
and,
no
and
dropper.
Liam hates it because he has to work on it. So he's always like, just get
Like-
another one. I'm like, no, dude, has anyone made a lighter one yet? No.
no.
Okay, then.
Gosh, I'm gonna find
gonna-
out. Like,
I'm
But
gonna
I did have the
super-
Crank Brothers Highline on my Rascal before
That's
that was
true.
sold.
Well,
so-
and I'm gonna get that Crank Brothers Highline 11
thing
with
is
a carbon
rad.
shaft.
Yeah, you should use that.
Because even if
yeah,
it's
but that's still not lighter.
but even
remember?
if it's 10 or 15 grams heavier,
I'll accept
it's
15
gonna be
grams,
more
but no more.
reliable.
I'm gonna
All right.
find like a super obscure European company that makes a lighter drop post. I'm just
I'll
like,
get
this
that
is the
one.
lighter one.
I'll get
And
that
you'd be
one.
like, well, it's not from a reputable brand. Okay.
Well, okay. There is definitely a lot of weird, obscure European mountain bike parts of all kinds that are obscenely light and amazing, but they're also $5,000.
Like those Intend.
It's no problem for
forks.
Jeff Cayley.
Yeah.
I think you need to get one of those.
I'm not going that far.
One of those fancy Intend upside down forks that are like way
No
lighter.
way. I'm not going
with
that
the
far.
carbon steer and everything.
Are those
going
actually
that far.
lighter though? Or are they just cool?
For the sake of this podcast, they are lighter, and then he's gonna have to research it and look into it.
What dropper post you got on your bike right now?
Fox Transfer on my SB140, and then I also have a Crank Brothers Highline because it is a great price, and I paid for that one.
True. Well, the number one dropper post, Fox Transfer Factory.
Yep.
Number 2 was the One Up Components V2, and the number 3 was the P&W Loam.
Lomer.
All different price points. Fox
Yeah.
Transfer
Yeah.
Factory is kind of that bougie Matsuya Kashima fork and shock,
Yep.
high end post.
Right up there.
The One Up is and the P&W are more on the less expensive side, but still bulletproof, reliable.
Yeah.
One Up has extremely low stack height. They're both more user serviceable, I guess you could say.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Speaking
Droppers,
of-
seat post, remotes,
Or levers.
or levers.
Or levers.
Or levers.
How do you want to call it?
I like lever.
I like lever because you sound fancy.
Yeah.
The number 1 was almost the one I have on my bike. I have the Wolf Tooth remote on my bike. It's my favorite one that I always use.
I like that one too.
I just love that one. But the number 1 was the Wolf Tooth remote light action. So it's essentially the exact same lever, but it has exact same remote with a longer lever blade.
Correct.
Increased
make it-
leverage.
Increased leverage, so
And
you have
do
more
you
of a
think-
light action. You don't have to push nearly as hard with
You
your
think
thumb
that's
to
why a
activate the
lever is
post.
called a lever is because it offers leverage?
Yeah.
You might be on some, Jared.
You're onto something.
Yeah.
We should spend an hour and a half Googling that after the podcast.
I'm down.
Number 2, P&W Loam lever. That's a nice one. Little nice rubber pad on there. You can change the colors. Is that what you have on your bike right now?
rubber
Pad for your
pad.
thumb. No, I have the Wolf Tooth remote on my El Jefe,
Yeah,
and then I have a Fox Transfer one on the other one, which happens to be our number 3.
it is. They should call it the Fox Transfer V2, but I think they kind of took the V1 and just tried to shove it under the rug like it never happened.
They just erased it from history.
They just erased it from history.
Said
We'll
because-
forget about that one
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Although we
That was
publicly
definitely
roasted it and got in trouble.
A forgettable lever.
Yeah, I said that it wasn't that good on a YouTube video, and Fox was like, me, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that?"
But
And
you
they,
know,
like,
guess
weren't-
what?
And I was like, guess what? It's not that good. I'm not just going to lie to people.
But
But guess what?
And then they revised
out
it
with a
and-
better
and
one.
They made it way better, and now it's awesome lever,
Yeah.
and it's in the number 3 spot.
Well, yeah, if you said this is great, they probably would have kept it the same, which would have been horrible for the bike industry and humanity as a whole. It's like if something actually genuinely, it warrants criticism, then yeah, you should give it because otherwise it'll be the same and it'll suck.
I agree, man. Yeah,
Right?
that's why I do it.
Yep.
Brakes.
Brakes.
Break this up and talk about brakes.
Oh,
Dang,
This-
daddy.
This number 1, Magura MT7s.
Top spot again.
Yeah, that's the second year in a row, which is amazing that Magura has really just taken some market share in the North American
he's
market.
kind of slid in under the radar and just
really
hanging
did.
out
Yeah.
the top. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
number
and
of
people
kind
are
of,
still fighting for the win, but they don't even know that someone's beating them.
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. It's like
Yeah.
SRAM and Shimano are hyper focused, looking
Yeah.
at each other, and here's Magura just like selling
Running
more
away.
brakes than all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, that's a
pretty
really
cool.
good way of putting it, Liam.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, let everybody else, all the peasants, deal with their stuff. Magura's on their high horse at
Yeah.
the top.
I don't know if they look at it quite like that, but
Yeah.
they're making good brakes.
I thought you were going to say something about them being peasants, but yeah.
I actually swapped. Well, my
Oh, you've been riding Maguras.
yeah, my
Yeah.
Forrestal came with MT7s to start, and I was like, well, I'll just run them and see how they are. A lot of people like them, and if not, I'll throw the Code RCs on them because that's what I've been liking. And I dug them so much that I swapped frames, e-bike frames, and those had MT5s on them, which is pretty much my understanding the same exact brake with a little bit different lever. So I left the MT5s on, like those a lot. So then I-
MT5s are in the number 4 spot, by the
yep,
way.
MT5s are in number 4 spot. And then I built up my SB120, and I like having the same brake and same brake pad, so I just put MT5s on that too.
A logical guy.
The number 2 spot, SRAM Code RSCs, which Jared, I know you love.
I do love those. I have those on both my bikes.
Liam is a former lover of the SRAM Code RSCs.
I still like them.
He's a current and former lover, but
Oh,
you
but
know.
you swapped it all out to
I,
the
I don't
Maguras.
have any on my bikes, but I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the swinger of the brake world.
I ran the Code RSCs on my Rascal all year, and I love those things.
Yeah.
That's a super powerful, good SRAM brake. Number 3 spot, the workhorse, Shimano SLX.
SLX.
Slicks.
Those are, I mean, the price of Shimano SLX, I'll give it to him. There is absolutely no better brake at that price
For
point.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
hands down.
actually, Magura does offer a brake that's pretty close in price, but we haven't tried it.
Yeah. Not,
So
and like the,
MTs or
that
MT
Shimano
trails
or
SLX
something?
design has
Yeah.
been extensively tested, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, if that was my price point, there's no way I'd pick a different brake.
To be honest, I like SLX or XTs, but better than the XTRs. XTRs have that varying bite point, and they just kind of are
Yeah,
inconsistent.
nobody likes that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So number 4, we already mentioned Magura MT5, and then in the 5th spot, the TRP DHR Evo,
Yeah.
which is that sort of big dog 4-piston downhill brake that people love to put on their enduro bikes.
Woof
Yep.
woof.
Yeah,
I have it on. I have a set on my shuttle bike, and I like them. But yeah, they're a little heavy to go on like my other bike, so I
Yeah.
didn't do that.
Yeah. All right,
They're good though.
saddles,
Shadows.
Shadows.
also known as seats.
Oof.
By the way, on this saddles topic, we made a YouTube video about saddles, and we put in a lot of research into that video and kind of really spent a lot of time breaking out the way we were going to explain what matters when you're considering buying a saddle, who you are, what bike you ride, how often you ride it, how long you ride it, all these other things. Then we even had a phone in a friend. We got Jonathan Lee, who's like a big time roadie and cross country rider, who's super knowledgeable about this stuff, who's works over at Trainer Road. We got him in the video to talk a lot about it more extensively. So if you're really on the saddle train, you can't figure out which one you like, or you're going to buy a new one and you want to like really dig into the topic, check out that video. Number 1 spot, WTB Volt.
Classic.
Classic. Yeah.
Classic design, available in a whole bunch of different rail materials and price points. Looks good. I mean, can't go wrong. Ergon SM Pro, and number 2. It's the one you like,
I'm
Jared?
a fan of that one. Yeah.
You like that one?
Mm-hmm.
Jared's a fan.
I'm a fan.
Jared's a fan. Then the number 3, how about this, Willie? Title MTB JS1 saddle.
I wouldn't have believed it unless I saw it right here.
I know.
Dark horse.
I didn't believe it either. I was like, I gotta see the data,
Yeah.
and I like dug around. And I was like, no,
He-
yeah,
he
okay, Jared.
Literally
You're
didn't
right.
believe me, and I had to say,
Well, it's like a dirt jump
It
saddle.
is a dirt
Yeah.
jump.
I
kind
don't.
of dirt
I'm
jump
just
saddle.
really
Slash
curious
free ride,
why.
yeah.
I mean, Title is a dirt jump free ride brand, owned and operated by, I think, predominantly Brett Reeder,
Yep.
the famed, absolutely astonishingly good free rider. And yeah, I mean that saddle fits their brand. It's very dirt jump esque looking. I
looks
don't really know if
kinda
people are
comfortable
putting it on their enduro bikes, because I mean it's definitely got more padding and more cushion than
Yeah.
every other saddle
Yeah.
that we sell, basically. So
I think that's kind of like a trend. People putting just kind of whatever saddle. I mean,
yeah,
comfortable
maybe.
looking ones.
Yeah, those
Style
Pro
points
Mags were really
things.
popular for a while.
Yeah, you're
Chromag
right.
Saddles. There's a bike
Reminds
back there,
me of
like a
those.
Ranger with a Chromag saddle on there,
Yeah.
not it? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
True.
Yeah. Speaking of some saddles,
WTB Silverado in the number 4 spot. That's my preferred
Another
saddle. I really like that.
classic.
It's another classic design. I have the one with carbon rails. It is stealth bomber looking. It's low profile, lightweight, low padding. I mean,
I'd say it's legit.
it's legit. I really like it. It's not a cushy saddle by any means,
No.
but it's an awesome saddle that I really
Slim.
enjoy. Slim. Oh, actually, I have the Volt on my gravel bike thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I have both of those.
Gravel bike thing.
Well, yeah. It's supposed to be a gravel bike, but
Franken
has
bike.
flat bars and a dropper post. Number 5, SDG Bel Air 3.0. Real classic right there.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
3.0
3.0 version of the
Yeah.
classic. So
Yeah.
Modern take on a classic.
modern take on the classic. Pedals. 1-Up.
Composite.
Popping up
And-
again.
Yep.
Actually, the number 1 spot was 1-Up Composite, and the number 2 spot was 1-Up Aluminum, which is killer. They do make a really nice pedal. Clears mud well, grips well, looks awesome. Bunch of different colors.
Yeah.
What more to say?
Yeah.
What more to say?
Durable serviceable.
Then in the number 3 spot, the P&W Range composite pedal. That's cool to see that. Didn't that come out in 22?
I think that came out
wasn't that long
or,
ago.
or like
last year.
maybe end of 21, but
Yeah.
it's not too old.
Yeah, it's nice to see that in there. Number 4 spot, Deity Death Trap composite pedal. Then the Race Face Chester composite pedal. Composite pedals dominated the list, and
Yeah.
also so did flat pedals. And this made me realize we probably should have done a clipless pedals and a flat pedals like separately.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that, Jared?
Well,
Jared.
noted for next year.
I mean, I guess in the scheme of things, clipless pedals just don't sell nearly as much as flat
Yeah.
pedals. So
and it would be
there's
what?
that.
Shimano Crank Brothers, and maybe a trickle in from another brand.
Honorable
but
mentions.
Honorable
Would there
mention.
be after that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there are your top pedals.
There are your
Alright.
top
No
pedals.
surprise. No surprise.
Forks
Forks, baby,
is the next
forks.
category.
Number 1, the big Super Enduro.
38.
38. Fox 38. That is a good fork.
Fantastic.
I mean, that is just, it looks amazing. It works amazing.
Exceptional.
Yeah.
Exceptionable. Oh, I was going to
It's like
say
you can't really say anything
adjustable
bad about that thing.
and exceptional. I said exceptionable. Yes.
So, as we mentioned earlier, these products were picked from revenue generated and or volume, and the forks category, well, a lot of these categories, they're all over the place, right? Because you can imagine not as many people buy a Fox 38 as do a RockShox Recon, which is a completely different price point. That is probably the best fork under $250, whereas the Fox 38 is the best fork over $1,000. But those are your 1 and 2 spots right there. Number 3, 34 step cast. You got a 34 step cast on something, don't you? Or you just have a 34?
I just have a 34
not the step cast one.
Yeah, not a step cast. I'm a big boy.
You had that on your
SB 100.
Yeah.
Which DJ Green Goblin over here now has.
DJ Green Goblin.
DJ Green Goblin has a Fox 34 step cast.
Yeah, he does.
Number 4 spot.
Fox
36.
which I do have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. The new one.
Yeah.
Because what did they? Oh, Fox is so confusing. Every April they come out with next
Yeah.
year's forks.
Well, I think they changed the chassis with a different material and shaved off a little bit of weight.
But that
it's
was their
relatively similar.
2023 forks that came out in
Right.
April of 2022.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the version you want to buy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The giveaway is that really rounded arch.
Right.
Well,
That
that's
was-
been there for 2 years now.
Yeah, but the newest one, just like they shaved off, I don't know, like 25 grams or something, or maybe a little more than that.
But
That
the one
rounded arch
prior
came
to that
out.
rounded arch was very different.
Right.
Correct.
And it kind of got overshadowed by the 38 because it came out with the 38,
Yeah.
which took
Yeah.
all the press.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
when they had all the
the
limited
36
edition colors,
was actually
like
really
the root
good.
beer 36 and the pistachio 38. That's when those all came out.
Yep.
Yeah, great fork, that 36.
It is good.
Yeah. But you know what is shocking? Is our next category.
Rear shocks, Float X,
Yeah.
the all-around amazing enduro shock,
Great
enduro
shock.
trail bike shock.
Yeah.
Float X2, just a bigger, beefier version of that for longer travel bikes and downhill bikes.
Yeah, the Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
RockShox Monarch RL,
Yeah.
less expensive,
Yeah.
high volume, fits on a lot of bikes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Then
Great
the
replacement.
RockShox Super Deluxe Ultimate.
Oof.
Yep.
Nice. Reservoir.
I really like the new Super Deluxe Ultimate.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, the new.
That's the one.
Yeah, that one. Is
Works well.
Is that what you have right now? What do you
I
have
have
right
a
now on your bike?
Super Deluxe Ultimate coil on my Forestall. And then I have a Float X2 on my Crestline downhill bike.
Nice.
Yep.
Very good. I have the RockShox Sid setup, Sid Ultimate, Sid Deluxe on my Revel Ranger light trail bike, and then the Rascal had a Pike on it and a Super Deluxe.
Yep.
Ultimate.
Was it Ultimate?
Yeah.
It was Ultimate.
Oh, it was Ultimate.
Super Deluxe Ultimate 9000.
Ultimate.
That name, jeez.
Super Deluxe Ultimate. Those are like 3 synonyms.
Yeah, that's that is unbelievable. What do you have on your bikes?
Yeah, I have a Float X on my SB 140, and then I have, well, there is no rear shock on my other bike because it's a hardtail.
It's your legs.
Oh, it's my legs, man. I suck it.
Before we get into maintenance and miscellaneous and the top products of the entire year and the least popular product of the entire year, a quick break so you can hear this nice sound effect. All right. Maintenance.
Maintenance.
Got to maintain.
The reigning king of the maintenance category, SRAM Buttergrease. Works for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Muck Off Bio Dry Bike Chain Lube.
Great lube.
Top selling chain lube, really
Yeah.
important. Actually works really good. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Number 3 spot, Buzzy's Slick Honey.
That's my favorite.
Me too.
You like Slick Honey? What do you
Yeah.
use it for?
Everything.
everything?
Well, not everything.
Chain lube.
Really?
No,
kidding.
no, Jared.
Yeah, not.
Just kidding.
It's
We're
grease.
I'm not going to spread in
No,
misinformation.
hub internals and suspension mostly.
Yeah. Dropper
Yep.
posts.
Chopper posts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good. this. Do you use it for the exact same things you'd use butter grease for?
I do.
And do you think that there is any chemical difference between slick honey and butter grease?
I haven't dived into the grease, but I bet you they're like 98% the same.
Yeah. I think Jared said that when we were filming the video.
So they're probably made in the same factory.
The number 3 spot was the Park Tool SAC-2. What is S again?
That's the
Something
Super
assembly
grip.
compound.
That's the
Super grip assembly compound?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's assembly compound for if you have
Yeah.
paste.
Carbon paste.
Carbon
Yeah,
paste.
it's like a carbon paste, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what SAC-2 is.
Super grip assembly compound. So carbon handlebars on your stem, we're
Seat
putting your
posts.
controls,
Seat posts.
grips, seat posts into your carbon frame.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's a really good product, and I think Park Tool didn't have it for a long time. So it makes sense that they came out with it, came out with a really good one, and it sold like hotcakes.
Boom. Speaking of cakes,
Miscellaneous?
before we talk about the rest,
I get that.
What-
Got that cake, girl.
any other honorable mentions in the maintenance category? What's that chain lube that you liked?
well,
It's not the muck-off stuff
I run
that I
the
like.
squirt.
The squirt.
squirt.
And when we travel, I put squirt on your bike.
Yeah, I know. I do think it lasts the longest, although it's probably a little gunkier than the muck-off.
It seems thicker.
Yeah.
It's for sure thicker.
You have to put it on and let it fully dry. If
Right.
it fully dries,
Yeah, so that's the other thing. That's kind of annoying because you got to let it sit overnight
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah, it's like not the chain lube you just like throw on your bike before you go for
No,
a
you gotta
ride.
think
Yeah,
a
no
little,
way.
Jared.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
sometimes last night, Jared, isn't the same as
how
I'm
many
gonna go ride
how
around
many
now.
people are going to do that? How many people are going to do that?
I do, and my drivetrains are spotless.
That is one thing I have like told myself I'm going to do more is like go out to my bike the night before a ride and just make sure it's dialed instead of like waking up and being like, oh my god, I got to do all this stuff.
You know what's even easier, Jared?
having it dialed already.
Get back from your ride and just wipe off the chain and throw chain lube on. It
Yeah.
Now
takes
you're asking a lot.
60 seconds.
Yeah, that is asking. even
60
more.
seconds.
Yeah, that's some good logic.
This has turned into a psychiatric counseling session. Let's go into the miscellaneous category. Number 1 spot.
Yeah.
Race Face T2 half stack tailgate pad. That's basically a really nice Race Face tailgate pad for the bed of your truck, but it's the half version of it
for 2 bikes
for 2 bikes.
Is the half stack offensive?
in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Hey, they're half stack.
Oh no, that's like short. That's short stack,
Short stack.
and that's pancakes.
Pancakes. Half stack? I guess not. No,
You're
they would have thought
that's
of
like
that.
half pint. Like, hey, they're half
Oh,
pint.
Yeah, I guess
like,
so.
yeah,
This is a great tailgate pad that's just not as big as a normal one.
yeah. If you just
Yep.
have like,
Makes a ton of sense.
2
And it
bikes.
doesn't block your backup camera.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
convenient.
Yep.
Doesn't cover up your logo on
or
the
your
other side.
your release
Oh yeah,
your
the
handle.
the tailgate handle.
tailgate handle.
Yeah, that's nice. I just no wonder it sold like hotcakes.
Yeah, way easier to take on and off.
Number 2 spot, Lezyne Flow bottle cage side loader.
Side loader.
I like that's my personal
Yeah.
favorite one.
That's
Yep.
the cage,
It comes in a right and a left.
but also the wolf tooth cage is great too.
Yeah.
titanium.
Me and Jared like the wolf tooth
Yeah,
ones.
That's your honorable mention.
That's
You
our
can
honorable
put that
mention
in there.
in the
Yep.
bottle cage.
Number 3, Pedro's tire levers. No wonder those things are amazing.
Those
it's like
have been the best.
no one has designed a
tire
better tire
levers.
lever in 19 years or however
Well,
long those have been
No
around.
one.
I will say that the Cushcore
Oh, that
tire
thing is
lever,
cool.
bead popper, whatever they call it,
Bro.
that thing is sick for like super, super hard and tough tires and working
Yeah.
with Cushcore.
Nice.
Other than that, though, Pages is used all the time.
Yeah,
Nice.
makes sense. Number 4, Fox high pressure shock pump, 350 psi.
Yeah.
I mean,
analog.
it's a shock
That's the
pump.
one.
That one's digital,
Yeah.
right?
Well, the digital one didn't sell as good as the analog one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
It's like half the
4
price.
times the price. I think it's more than that. Isn't that one $30 versus like 120?
Oh no, I think it's like $60 for the.
Oh.
Yeah.
I should
right.
probably look that up before I say it.
Yeah,
Maybe
I have
50,
no,
maybe 60.
I have
Type
no-
that into the computer there, Jared.
No clue what it
While I,
costs.
while I say number 5, which is the Lezyne Grip Drive HV frame pump. That thing's actually really cool. A lot of people are carrying frame pumps with them now, either on their frame or in their hydration pack or in their bib pocket, as opposed to CO2s, because the frame pumps are more environmentally friendly. You don't have to replace them. So like a CO2, you get a flat, you use it,
forget.
and then you forget to replace your cartridges, and then you get another flat, and you go, oh, these are used CO2 cartridges. So that never happens again. And they've also made these things so much lighter.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
this Lezyne HV frame pump, it almost feels weightless in your hand. It's
And it's-
super easy to use.
Got a hose inside.
It's got the hose tucked inside.
Pretty cool.
And I think everyone at one point has messed up putting their CO2 on
sure.
on there. Yeah.
For sure. So back to what we were just talking about. The analog version is $33. Digital version, $80.
Yeah, it's a big price difference.
So a little more than double.
Honorable mention: crank boots, SRAM crank boots in particular. A lot of people bought those because they have SRAM cranks and got to get crank boots.
I don't run them on my 5 devs.
Yeah. Well, you can't really, right?
Tough
Or
guy.
you don't want to.
I am a tough guy.
Tough guy.
Tough guy.
Best selling products of the entire year. This is just by volume. That was.
I think you should go from number 4 to number 1.
Okay, Jared.
Don't give away the first one like
yeah,
off the bat.
Okay.
Like we have been.
Number 4, which has been in this for 3 years running, or maybe more years, is the at least in the top 5, is the DT Swiss 54 tooth ratchet kit.
Oh yeah,
man, we have a really old YouTube video on that thing where I basically explained what that does, because a lot of bikes come with the stock 18 tooth ratchet, which has 18 teeth of engagement, which is crazy. It's a huge amount of lag and drag of
It's like
nothingness.
some, like 20
until,
degree engagement or something.
it's crazy.
Yeah, so I shouldn't say lag or drag. That's in the wrong words. Huge amount of dead zone where you're unengaged, and when you start pedaling before it engages because you have less engagement. And then you can upgrade for it's like $115 or something to the 54 tooth.
Yep.
Slide that in there. Bam. Now you got 54.
times. 3 times.
Yeah, it makes a major difference.
Yeah.
And
that's like one of those things. Like if you have an 18 tooth DT Swiss hub right now for $115, you can dramatically change the way your bike feels and rides,
Yep.
which is pretty cool, and why that thing has been a top
And
seller
it's
for years.
easy to install yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, it
Super
is.
easy.
As long as you don't put the springs backwards.
Don't put the springs backwards. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been such a hot sour too. I know the SKU off the top of my head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
HU 1344.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just testing you.
Number 3 spot
Fox factory rebuild kit for float rear shocks.
fits almost every Fox rear shock.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but
besides,
a ton of
pretty
them.
much besides the Float X2
Yeah.
or a coil shock.
Yeah. Float rear shocks from like 2000, the year 2000
Yep.
up. It's incredible. And good on them for honestly making them all compatible. Like I could
Yeah, that was
Seriously.
super smart of Fox
Like,
to do that.
instead of just making every shock different, like, oh, now I have a new seal kit for every single shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that was a good idea.
You guys are cool.
It's
Thank
actually
you.
Nice work,
That's
Fox.
a winning move, Fox.
Yeah.
Winning move.
Yeah.
Number 2, SRAM disc brake pads. The sintered compound with the steel backed.
Ooh.
But what shape is this for? Do you know?
I think this is the code one.
Code.
And then G2 is actually the next one. Because people are obviously going for sintered pads.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think they typically, well, codes always come with the sintered, but the G2s come with the organic.
The G2s come with the powerful.
Powerful organic.
Yeah, organic, yeah.
Right.
Brake pads.
There you go, brake
No
pads.
surprise. People wear brake pads. Number 1.
The number
one
The
spot.
number one.
Product.
GX Eagle chain.
Oh. Not that exciting.
I mean,
it's cool.
it's a really good chain. It's at an affordable price point. It fits on any Eagle drivetrain. Doesn't matter what it is.
Any.
SX, NX, GX, X01, X01, any of the Axis variants fits on all of those.
All of them.
All of
So,
them.
yeah, it makes sense why that would sell.
Yeah, sure
and
does.
probably because there was, 900 people that couldn't get one all of 2020 and 2021 that were like, yes, I can buy one now
That's
in
true.
2022.
Probably bought 10 of them.
They probably bought 10 of them.
And now they're in stock.
The SRAM GX Eagle chain was essentially the toilet paper of 2022.
Oh, that's a good
toilet
way of
paper in
putting it.
2020
Yeah.
was a GX
Yeah.
Eagle chain in
Well,
22.
all chains, I should say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No
kind
matter
of all
what the
chains were like
brand.
that. Yeah.
buy out the whole stock at your local shop and then sell them to your buddies for a 200% markup.
Yeah. Arbitrage.
And
Yeah.
you might not have any buddies after that.
All right. All right.
His GX chain for $60.
All right, Jared. Do you
Yeah.
want to hit that
Oh, yeah.
number 1 least sold product?
The number 1 least sold product is Liam. Well, I was going to ask you if you want to guess it, but you're looking at it right now.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Avid bleed block for Juicy 2005 to 2007 and Juicy 3 brakes.
Unbelievable.
Impressive.
This is the least sold product.
Yeah.
Which so obviously there could have been some products that didn't sell at all.
Right, which
once,
those were not
but
included.
It doesn't count. We want the least sold product, and this we sold one of for the
Yes.
entire year.
1.
It's a bleed block for Avid Juicy 3s.
Yeah.
2005 to 2007 versions.
You know, man, if you're listening and you're bleeding your brakes with that block, just good for you.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
It's just amazing somebody bought that.
What were you doing in 2005 to 2007, Jared?
I was
high school.
I think 05. I was probably a freshman in high school, and I probably didn't have juicies. I wish I did back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had juices in high
What were
school.
you doing in
Or down a bike.
2005, Liam?
Just getting into middle school and skating and biking a lot and not riding mountain bikes.
Skater die.
Actually, and I just started surfing too.
Punk.
Jeez. That was mean.
That's mean. I'm
Gonna
sorry.
make him cry.
Didn't mean it.
Punks don't cry.
All right. Well, this was a bit of an untraditional episode. For those of you that stuck around, we genuinely appreciate it. Thank you for your listenership or viewership.
Yeah.
If you want a little reward, it does help the podcast if you leave a review on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you listen on either of those platforms, if you leave us a review,
Take a screenshot.
DM
it to us.
and DM it to us
At
at
Worldwide
the
Cyclery
Worldwide
on
Cyclery Instagram, and we will hook you up with a $15 gift card
Yeah.
to either Worldwide Cyclery or Kettle or Trail One.
Yeah. Or we got info
Starbucks.
at
Just kidding, not
mtbpodcast.com,
Starbucks.
right? If you're not on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. If you want to email it, you can take a screenshot and email it to it's podcast at worldwidecyclery.com.
Podcast at worldwidecyclery.com. Thank
Goes
you.
right to
Podcast.
Jared's inbox.
Yes, it does.
So don't send him anything he doesn't want to see.
But-
Or
Send him the
maybe
screenshots
do.
of your reviews.
Or maybe two. No, don't even put that in their minds. No.
You know, one time this was a few years ago. I don't know why I thought this would be funny. I went on the Instagram stories and I think I had a RockShox Fender, and I said first person to show me their feet next to their RockShox fork that wants this Fender,
I
I'll ship it
remember
to
this.
him.
Horrible
And
idea.
it was like 3 days, hundreds of
Inundated.
just gross feet pics on people's RockShox forks.
yourself,
I know.
Well,
I was like, that was. I thought it was funny.
All the
Raymond
things you could ask
got
for.
so
Yeah.
upset that he said, "Jeff, you answer all these DMs."
Yeah, he's
and
like,
I'm not
dude,
doing
I do
it.
not like. He was grossed out by
he
how
doesn't
many
like feet.
feet pics.
I
there were.
also hate feet, so I would be like quitting.
Yeah, when he told me, I was like, "Who cares? Just open it and say thanks and close it." And then once I started, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of gross." Just like one after the next, like bare feet, dirty
know.
next to forks. Like this
Of
is
all
not
of the things you
last
could
thing
ask
anyone wants
for.
to see is mountain bikers' feet.
Yeah, that's what you asked for. Just, I want to see pictures of your feet. Send them to
Yeah,
me.
yeah. It was. I thought it was funny, and it ended up not being funny because, 15,000 people saw it, and 300 of them did it. So
Gross.
you got to watch yourself on the internet.
Yeah. So,
Well, that's it. That's all. Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Sayonara.
Love ya.
cheerio.